Greetings from Liverpool, the heartland of the Corbyn project. The Labour Party in Liverpool is solidly behind Jeremy Corbyn as he attempts to become the Prime Minister for the second time. I mean, Liverpool is such a level of support for Labour in this city. I mean, we're looking at 70% in each constituency, that they're not even campaigning. I mean, it's up there with the Muslim areas of the inner cities and the black areas in their support for the Labour Party. And so we can get a real sense of the feeling of the Labour Party at the moment from the ground here in Liverpool. And I tell you what, it's total despair. I'm speaking to Labour Party activists, Labour Party members, passionate Labour Party supporters, and they've given up on this general election. They really feel that the Labour Party is heading for a catastrophic defeat. Oh, Jeremy Corbyn has suddenly been transformed into, oh no, it's Jeremy Corbyn. The guy has become a total liability to the Labour Party. 2 years ago, in the 2017 general election, he was hailed as the Messiah, the source of light, a new beginning for the Labour movement, and he had a dramatic impact across the country. I mean, the Labour vote went up, surged. Labour got 40 more seats. It was a fantastic general election for him in 2017. Now, Corbyn is regarded as, you know, the fallen hero. He's hissed at now. His name is like derision. They're almost shouting, crucify him. You know, the Messiah has fallen. And it's a sad state of affairs for the Labour Party. And the Conservatives have got to be jubilant. Because I said 2 weeks ago in the video that Labour Party was heading for a wipeout. That is now on the cards. They're going to go to be under 200 seats. This key areas in the small town Britain, especially in the eastern side of Britain, places like Derby and Chesterfield and Grimsby, where Labour have small majorities, but quite solid, you know, 2,000-3,000 majorities. They're going to lose those seats. They're way behind in the polls. And it's going to see a dramatic sea change in British politics. For the first time, really, since 1987, we're going to get a thumping Conservative victory. We're going to get the opportunity to reshape Britain again, to reignite our traditional values and our patriotism. This is a fantastic opportunity for the Conservatives, because during this whole Brexit sort of process, the Conservatives have managed to purge out of the party the ultra-liberals that have held it back since Margaret Thatcher. We're looking at people like Kenneth Clarke. We're looking at people like Michael Heseltine. They've gone over to the Liberal Democrats, Heidi Allen, Anna Soubry. All the sort of left-wing element of the Tories have disappeared. So we've got a much more patriotic Tory party this time. And this is going to be a real opportunity in the next 5 years to revive Britain and to cleanse Britain. You know, as the Tory party is being purged, we need to purge this country of all the negative elements and revive the national spirit in Britain. And it's a great opportunity ahead. And it's all going to start with Brexit. I mean, obviously a solid Tory majority of over 60 seats. That's what I'm predicting now. That will have the opportunity to push through a great Brexit settlement. And again, it's an opportunity to rebuild Britain and revive Britain, and it's a great triumph for the Conservative Party, for Boris Johnson. You know what's about to happen over the next 2 weeks, because to be honest, the Remain campaign fought a fantastic rearguard action after the 2016 vote. I mean, it was they've held up this process for 2.5 years. And they got to a position before the general election was called where they were actually in control of Parliament, the Remainers. They had Boris Johnson, on the ropes. Yet the Remainers fought an amazing rearguard action over the past 2.5 years to slow down the Brexit process and try and reverse it. I mean, they got to a position just before the general election when Boris Johnson was on the ropes. They'd taken control of Parliament. They had the majority in Parliament. And because of the 5-year Parliamentary Act, they could have held on to that for another over 2 years. If they'd have found a leader in Parliament, they could have overturned the whole Brexit project. But it was Corbyn again who gave victory to the Conservatives because they couldn't coalesce around an extremist like Jeremy Corbyn. And he's toxic. So at their moment of victory, they failed to select a true leader to take them forward. I mean, they could have chose Kenneth Clarke, although he's a bit old now. It was up to the Labour Party members to jump ship and form a Remain group in Parliament around one of these figures, one of these key figures like Kenneth Clarke. But it shows you the power of party politics in Britain, that these Labour Party members, by and large, I mean, a number did jump ship, obviously, Luciana Berger, Chuka Moon, and so on and so forth. But the vast majority remain loyal to the party machine because the party machine is so real. Even now, as Labour goes into this debacle of the general election where they're about to face a collapse, the people are still loyal to that Labour Party machine because there's over 400,000 members. It's got an income of £50 million a year. It's obviously got a ground operation in each constituency in this country. People don't want to leave a ship that is that solid, even when it's sinking. And it shows you the Tories as well, that even though they a whole wedge of the Conservative Party jumped ship in Parliament, people like Rory Stewart and Dominic Grieve, senior figures left, people's loyalty was still primarily to the Conservative Party, because parties are so essential to British politics. They're more important than actually the European Union. This is what's come out of this whole Brexit process, that the party political system in Britain is the key element of our political life. It's not based on these international alliances. It's not based on our membership of organisations such as the UN or the EU. It's based on the party system. The party. What's going to happen now following the general election, and we're going to see a Labour collapse at the general election. The Labour Party again is going to have to go through a process of crisis and change, because Momentum, which is a cult, which sort of believes in the socialist project, but if that socialist project doesn't resonate with the British people, it's dead. And they're going to realise that everything they've been trying to build and create has failed. And Labour's going to have to go through this whole process of soul-searching again, like they did after the 1983 election when Foot lost, Michael Foot, and they're going to have to re-identify themselves. They're going to have to get a new identity, and it's going to go back to the only successful Labour model in the post since Clement Attlee has been really the new Labour model of Tony Blair, and they're going to have to face that reality that Labour has to be a moderate party or it's irrelevant. So yeah, there's big changes happening in British politics, which of course are part of the big changes that are happening across the world, because Trump is now galloping towards a landslide victory in America. That, together with a strong victory for Boris Johnson in Britain, and of course we've seen the victory of Scott Morrison in Australia and the Conservatives there, we're seeing a revival of the Conservative patriotic right across the Anglosphere, and that's combined with the national populist surging in Europe. We're seeing a new beginning in world politics. The left is now absolutely on the run. It's losing power dramatically. Its ideology is now outdated and irrelevant. And its whole project, this globalist project of destroying nations, of mass immigration, of undermining our traditional values, our traditional religions, our traditional way of life, that's being rejected. The constituency that they built up around themselves, the ethnic minorities, the students, the public sector unions, it's not strong enough. It's not big enough to win the day. We still have democracy. We still have the mass vote. It's the crucial element of our political life. And we're going to see a move to the right across the West. And we've seen it obviously in India with Modi and Duarte in the Philippines, Abe in Japan. We're seeing a new beginning for nationalism. And that is so important. And in 2 weeks' time in Britain, we're going to celebrate the rebirth of conservative nationalism, because I think we're about to enter a new golden age in this country. So thank you, Jeremy Corbyn, for all the destructive work you've done. I mean, I supported you when you became a leader of the Labour Party. I knew the devastation you would ultimately produce in that movement. And just as I've joined the Conservative Party to back Boris Johnson, because I saw him as a revival force, a way to get us out of the EU and a way to revive the national spirit in Britain. Now, there's a lot of work to be done. I haven't got great faith in Boris Johnson because he's been held captive to the progressive agenda for so long. But this is an opportunity for Boris Johnson to revive conservatism, to go back to our roots, the roots of Britain, to revive the Union, because the Conservatives are doing well in Scotland as well, to revive the Union, the United Kingdom, and bring Ireland closer to the United Kingdom again. Because they're going to see, as the EU begins to unravel and fall to pieces, because the EU was a failed project as well, there's an opportunity for Ireland to come back towards Britain, and for the British Isles to come into a new golden age. There's great opportunities ahead, there's great promise ahead, and in Boris Johnson we can have great optimism. Thank you.